Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita Khemka.
Hello, and I'm Yatin Mota.
Well, it was a range-bound session yesterday, but today there was a lot of action in the market. We were extremely choppy. There were some wild swings. I won't use the word roller coaster. I'm bored of that word. Yeah. Crazy is the kind of word I'll use for today because crazy swings. We saw the Nifty, oscillating between gains and losses, but it's a last-hour pop that pushed the Nifty above that 22,400 mark. We used to talk about that 22,300 hurdle, but now we have crossed that 22,400 mark, and the bulls have really been recharged. Of course, global cues were also pretty buoyant, with Dow hitting a fresh high yesterday, and we saw that sentiment at least towards the end of the session play out, and it was a good close. Broader markets also in fine fettle. India VIX, by the way, has eased for a third straight day, although it is still above that 20 level, but it has cooled off slightly. Aside of that, breadth was in favor of gainers. So 2:1, that was the kind of breadth we saw, advanced decline ratio. IT stocks were leading the way. In fact, all of the other sectors were also in the green, barring the PSU banking pack. That was the top gainer yesterday, but today came under a fair bit of profit booking. So we saw stocks like Bandhan Bank, Canara Bank, end lower in the session. M&M, that deserves mention after the numbers, which were, by the way, a big beat in terms of margins, revenue and profit. That stock was the top Nifty gainer, revived or recovered from the day's lows very smartly after the numbers. And aside of that, you had Tata Consumer, tech names like Tech Mahindra, Infosys, Airtel, of course, also among the top gainers. On the flip side, you had Maruti, BPCL, Tata Motors, SBI, UPL and Power Grid. These were some of the losers. The positive contributors on the Nifty were the likes of HDFC Bank, Infosys, M&M, Reliance and Bharti Airtel, Yatin. But Yatin, in the broader end of the markets, how are things there shaping up and which stocks did well there?
So, a lot of stocks and a lot of earnings reaction, Nandita. Obviously, the markets, as you were mentioning, a 300-point recovery from the day's low, clearly a huge momentum in the last half an hour of trade, especially on the day of expiry. Superb move. But multinational companies are in focus, ABB, Siemens, and today we had Honeywell Automation. This stock was up nearly 13% of the quarterly earnings, and strong momentum and price and volume action was seen. Hindustan Aeronautics, hit upper circuit of nearly 10% after the quarterly numbers, record profits as well as record level for the share price. Stock traded above that 4,600 mark. Few days back, Nandita, the stock was trading around 4,000. And look at the kind of moves which HAL has given.
Yeah.
Apart from that, Inox Wind, Titagarh Wagons, NCC, all of these stocks also did well. NCC, I think after the results, has moved nearly 9%. What was not doing well post the earnings was Bandhan Bank, stock down 4%. Earnings-wise, we had Mankind Pharma, stock was down 4%, Canara Bank down 4%, Sobha Developers also down 4%. So a lot of these result reactions, adversely seen in all of these stocks. GAIL, which is Gas Authority of India, that stock was down nearly 3%. Nuvama Wealth, Bank of India, Maruti Suzuki, also Nandita, all of these stocks were down nearly 2.5%.
Of course, action-packed day for us today. But on that note, let's take a look at some of the movers and shakers that are on our list this afternoon. Diving into the move that we saw on Bharti Airtel. Yatin, among the top contributors on the Nifty today, numbers were fairly good in terms of India operations. Africa business was under a spot of bother due to the devaluation, in currency in Africa. Capex remained elevated, but the management has said that overall capex will come down in FY25. Of course, there has been a lot of chatter about an impending tariff hike. On the back of that as well, we've seen quite a lot of action in the telecom space, and after the fundraise by Vodafone Idea as well. We have seen some of these telecom stocks gaining the limelight. If you look at the management con call that happened yesterday, Airtel top boss spoke about, tariff repair that is needed. And, as a whole, the industry needs to hike tariffs, because they need to repair the tariff structure that was distorted after Jio's entry into the telecom market, right? So that is something that the management outlined, and they said that they are looking at a ARPU of 300 rupees, but right now it stands at 209 rupees. For attaining an ARPU of 300, of course, tariff hikes will be necessary. Brokerage notes have come in on Airtel, and they're fairly bullish on the stock. MK in fact has an ad rating. Target price has been raised to 1400 rupees vis-a-vis 1325. They've said that Airtel is well positioned to benefit and gain from the subscribers that Vodafone Idea has lost, because they can upgrade the users to 4G and 5G from 2G post the 5G rollout. They've raised the EBITDA estimate for the stock by 3% for FY26. Motilal Oswal is also bullish. It has a buy rating, target price at 1640 rupees per share. It says that the company is poised to benefit from the sector consolidation as well as the tariff hikes once they come about. And they expect strong free cash flow generation as well as capex moderates at Bharti Airtel. Tariff hikes and moderation in capex, these are the positive catalysts. Also, Nomura believes that the company is well poised to gain in terms of ARPU as well. Motilal Oswal has raised FY25 and FY26 estimates by building in tariff hikes each in FY25 and FY26, Yatin. But HSBC has a hold rating on the stock, and they've said that the stock is fairly priced, and all the news around mobile tariff hikes as well as lower capex is already in the price. But for Vodafone Idea also, the bull case is of 25 rupees, right? Right now the stock is at 14 or thereabouts. So yes, lots of interest in telecom stocks ahead of that impending tariff hike, which may come about in the current fiscal itself.
Absolutely, and managements have been guiding about Q1. So the telephone bill or the mobile bill of yours is all set to get hiked in FY25, and if you were to believe the bull case, even FY26 will have a better visibility in terms of tariff hike if the first hike gets absorbed by the market. Most importantly, Nandita, what Bharti Airtel yesterday said was that the return on capital employed is at around 9.5%, which is quite low. And even at 300 rupees ARPU from the current 180, 300 rupees also, we will be one of the cheapest telecom providers in the world. So yes, tariff hike is something which the industry is trying to push quite hard right now. But apart from Bharti Airtel, one stock now, the stock opened up with a gap up nearly 6% higher, cooled off the day's high because there were concerns regarding Warburg Pincus selling their stake via block deals. Nevertheless, ended the day higher by nearly 2%. Why the stock was up is that a lot of brokerages had upgraded the stock. Yesterday, the management in the presentation said that they are expecting strong operating performance at the European business. And more importantly, they are expecting the India business to show good growth with 3% tire price hike already being done by the company. Now, Nomura has upgraded the stock to a neutral target 512, and Morgan Stanley has an equal weight call with a target of 472. Now, at the current valuations of 6.5 times FY26 EV to EBITDA, it does not look expensive. In fact, the free cash flows which Apollo Tyres can generate moving ahead would benefit investors. In fact, the company will now focus on price hikes to support margins, and Morgan Stanley believes that the margins are a cycle high, and probably moving ahead, price hike could slow down the revenue momentum, which is a key monitorable. But yes, Apollo Tyres in focus. Two things. Number one is the price hike done in the domestic market, and number two, whether or not Warburg Pincus sells part stake via block deals in the short term.
That's true, Yatin, but tire stocks, have been underperforming so far this year. Let's hope that this could be a new leg of upside for the tire stocks. But the other stock on my list is a stock that the street raised a toast to today was Radico Khaitan. Fourth straight quarter of 20% plus revenue growth. The volumes were nearly flat, but the premium segment did well, and premiumization has been doing well as a theme. So some of these stocks stand to benefit from this particular theme. Prestige and above brand clocked in a volume growth of 14% on a YOY basis. Now, Elara Capital has come out with a report on Radico Khaitan, wherein they have revised their rating to buy from accumulate, and they have revised their target price also to 1950 rupees per share, which is a 21% upside from yesterday's close price. Now, they have cited the consistent innovation, expansion of key brands including Rampur, Jaisalmer as well as Royal Ranthambore, and the fact that the company has launched 3 new brands encompassing rum, whiskey as well as gin. It has also increased the reach of its new brands in additional states. Now, it has a wide portfolio of brands and across spirits segment, like whiskey, rum, gin as well as vodka, and it is the market leader in vodka and premium rum as well. Product mix is something, the change in the product mix is something that could drive the growth going forward for the company, and Elara also feels that the margins or EBITDA margins could improve to 16.2%, up somewhere around 390 basis points, which would be in the within the aspirational guidance of 16 to 17% that was outlined by the company. Now, the company is also on track to turn net debt positive by FY26, net debt free, I beg your pardon. Easing inflationary pressures as well as better profitability, these are the key monitorables going forward, but they've cut their revenue estimates because their regular segment didn't do all that well compared to the premium segment. Right. So this is one stock that was on my radar this afternoon, and earnings look okay, but regular volumes need to pick up.
Absolutely, Radico Khaitan, and what a good momentum we have seen the stock for the last 12 months or so. I think more than 50% kind of a return is what we saw in the stock recently. But I think, Nandita, with that, it's a wrap on closing bell, and we hope this market momentum continues.
Of course, I mean 22,400 already on the charts. Let's see whether we can make a dash at all-time highs as well or not ahead of the key June 4 event. But with that, we are completely timed out on this edition of Closing Bell. From Yatin and me, thanks a lot for watching. But you guys go have a great evening and come back and join us on Opening Bell tomorrow morning. Till then, have a good evening and stay tuned to Moneycontrol for all your other news and updates.